In an old street of the city, there was a place where darkness was greater than light. The pavements were cracked, the paint of the buildings had faded away, and at night only the barking of stray dogs and the faint meows of cats could be heard. People called this place the Forgotten Corner because only those lived there whom the world had already abandoned. In this forgotten place, two lives were writing their own silent stories, a small stray dog and a stray cat. No one had ever named the dog, but the local children called him Dusty because his entire body was covered in dust and dirt. The cat was called Shadow because she always hid in the darkest corners. Dusty was a medium-sized dog, brown mixed with black, but his true color was hard to recognize, hidden beneath the thick layers of dirt in his fur. His eyes carried an unusual sadness. He often searched for scraps of food near rubbish piles, chewing quietly on leftover bread before wandering away. When children threw stones at him, he would run, but his eyes always seemed to ask, "What did I do wrong?" Shadow was a black and white cat, thin and fragile. Her ribs were visible, as if she hadn't eaten properly in days. Hiding was her habit. Whenever there was too much noise, or whenever someone came too close, she would vanish into the shadows. Her heart no longer trusted humans. She thought, "Everyone hurts me. Everyone pushes me away. Maybe I was meant to live in this world all alone." Their lives could both be summed up in one word: survival. One morning, a young woman passed by. Her name was Sarah. She had always loved animals, but her busy life had never allowed her to rescue one. She volunteered at an NGO that raised awareness for animals, but never imagined she would be the one to change a life. Sarah first noticed Dusty when he had his head buried in a rubbish bin, searching for food. Behind his ear was a small wound that looked old but painful. Sarah's heart ached. Slowly, she pulled a sandwich from her bag and placed it in front of him. At first, Dusty stepped back, suspecting a trap. But when he looked into Sarah's eyes, he saw, for the first time, not cruelty, but compassion. Carefully, he picked up the sandwich and ate it. Afterwards, he stared at Sarah from a distance, as if asking, "Will you come again?" That same evening, Sarah heard a soft meow. Shadow was pressed into a corner, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Sarah threw her a biscuit. Shadow quickly ate it and disappeared once more. Yet a bond had begun. For the next few days, Sarah kept returning. Each time, she brought food for Dusty and Shadow. Slowly, Dusty began to approach her without fear. Shadow was still cautious, but even her eyes now showed a faint glimmer of hope. One day, heavy rain poured over the city, flooding the streets. Dusty was drenched, his thin body shivering. Shadow hid inside an old pipe, but she too was cold and miserable. When Sarah saw them like this, her heart broke. She knew she couldn't leave them there any longer. For the first time, Sarah reached out and touched Dusty. At first, he resisted, trembling, but then allowed himself to lean into her touch, surrendering to safety. Rescuing Shadow was harder, but Sarah was patient, speaking softly until Shadow finally crawled into her bag.